Good evening, Top fans. It's Bill again from TopFanRivalry, just welcoming everybody into the clubhouse on what is a very now hot Monday night in June. Fellas, thanks for joining us. This is great. The lots to talk about. We haven't had these for a couple of weeks, and there has been a bunch to talk about, including a number of fun things in the MLB. We learned that maybe you don't have to touch first base with 2 outs when the ball's thrown to you as a first baseman. You just chase down the batter, and then you overthrow the person at first covering and let 2 runs come in. We've learned a couple of things about mental mistakes. Anyways, let's go around the horn. Jackson, what's been going on lately in the MLB, or what have you been paying attention to the last couple of weeks since we last talked?
Last couple of weeks, people missing first base seem to be a trend. Pirates happened the other day. Brian Hayes hit a home run and didn't touch first base and got called out.
I saw that.
So the Pirates continuing to be terrible, just like their management wants them to be. But I won't rag on the Pirates too much. Obviously foreign substances in baseball, track and spin rate, all that. All the fun stuff. They're going to have people checking the pitchers in the tunnel and the dugout. 10-game suspension, something like that. Who knows? Who really knows what's going to happen this week when they supposedly start suspending players?
Crazy. Yeah, that's one of these days I'll find a Pirate fan. I think there's like 16 of them left in the country. We'll find a Pirate fan to get on this with us. But
I don't blame them for jumping ship, and that's not a pirate pun, but
yeah, that's a good call. I forgot to mention as we got started. So we've got Jackson as a White Sox fan, Jackson as a Braves fan, Dave as a White Sox fan. We got 2 Angel fans in Viliami and Brian. Chris is a Mariners fan. He's had a lot to hold on to in the last 20 years. And then obviously I am a world champion Los Angeles Dodgers fan. But Jackson, you understand the world. Never mind. We won't talk about that. Dave,
the Braves are bad, but they still took 2 out of 3 from the Dodgers.
They took 2 out of 3 of the Dodgers, but what happened last year in the championship series?
Oh, living in the past, aren't we?
I loved it when Will Smith came up against Will Smith again. They were just playing that clip. I'm going, oh, this is awesome. This is awesome. Anyways, we could do that all night. Dave, what have you noticed last couple of weeks since we've been on?
That the Tigers really stink. I think we could have beat them with I think the Diamondbacks could probably beat them. They're that bad. Now the other thing we learned is that the White Sox keep winning with injuries to key players, and they got Adam Engel back in the outfield, but they lost their second baseman, guy from Oregon State. So torn hamstring, 60 days. So I don't know how many more injuries they can withstand and keep winning. It's pretty impressive, but tough to watch these guys keep going down. So yeah, that's what we've learned in the last couple of weeks.
Hey, what do you know about Robert? Do you know an estimated time of return, or is there no timetable for him right now?
I thought when he went down, it was 60 days, and I haven't heard anything else. There was an update on Eloy today that he's been cleared to start training again. So he'll start hitting and practicing his awful left field defense. So
doesn't matter if you're playing the Tigers, right?
Well, yeah. What's funny is Andrew Vaughn never played outfield, and he's a pretty darn good outfielder. The kid's an athlete.
Was it against you guys, Dave? Was it against the White Sox that that the Tigers outfielder, left fielder, went back to catch the ball, caught it over the wall, and then knocked his glove on the wall, and it went over?
Could have been. I didn't actually catch. I caught scores, and I was checking scores while I was at the fields, but I didn't watch any of the games. I wasn't able to.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Viliami, we're going to go to you. Talk to me about what you've seen the last couple of weeks. And I know you have a pressing question, but hold that thought for a second. What have you noticed in the last couple of weeks?
I've noticed that the Angels are hot right now, 9-2 in the month of June. We've went from a last place team to a third place team. We're slowly climbing up the wild card race, so that's always good. Let's see, Shohei and Vladdy Jr. battling it out for the MVP front runner, so that's always good to see. And I've also learned something interesting from Charles Barkley, who plays basketball. He made an interesting comment, and I think about the Dodgers when I heard this comment. He says that the championship that the Lakers won shouldn't be considered an actual victory because it was in the bubble. So if that's the case, does that mean the Dodgers victory isn't valid as well because it was technically a bubble?
Here we go. Here's this guy that's won one World Series in its existence, and now he's talking about us.
Hey,
Every
we were the
team
most
that-
relevant team in Southern California for what, 20, 30 years in regards to winning a championship.
So let me see if I get this straight.
Gosh, a lot of yellow newspaper there.
Yeah, exactly. Let me see if I get this straight. Like all but two teams made the playoffs last year because of the new rules, and the Angels weren't one of them. And you want to give me a hard time? Got it.
Hey,
Love it.
you play under the rules they set. You know what? The 2013 Blackhawks rolled the table. Nobody could catch them. That Stanley Cup means as much to me as any other one.
He's got a
All I
point.
know is the Angels are undefeated in October since 2003.
Man,
That's
be careful. You sound like a Cub fan.
09 defeated, 14 defeated, 05 defeated, 07 defeated, 08 defeated. Ugh.
So Brian's also an Angel fan. So what have you noticed? Angels or otherwise throughout the league the last couple of weeks?
I think with the league, I mean, baseball's hot right now, and not just the weather-wise out here, but just a lot of teams that are I don't know. It's weird noticing that no one's truly running away from it, and I'm not sure if that has to do with last season being weird or just the fact that it's more competitive all around, other than, some of those sub 500 teams like the Diamondbacks, the Tigers, and the Pirates. But I mean, the NL West is really interesting. I don't think it's getting enough credit. The Giants were not projected to do this at all, and here they are, a game up on the Dodgers at 40-25, and they're just pitching, and they're hitting a little bit, and their pitching is getting them through it, and that's great. I think that division's really fun, and I think a lot of the eyes were going to be on the NL East, and right now it's on the NL West.
Yeah, I I agree with you that there's a lot of things happening right now. I would have never thought that Cincinnati would be where they're at now. I mean, I picked them to win that division this year because I thought they had the sticks and a little bit of the pitching to do it. I thought maybe the Angels would win when the Asterix, and I said that right, the Asterix basically dismantled their team. I thought for sure, the Angels would run away with that division. I thought for sure the White Sox would have run away, and now they are, but they're starting to, I should say. But I didn't expect the bumps in the road, and nor did anybody think that the Yankees would be in third place with that team that they have. But you're right, Ryan. You're nailing it. So that's awesome. Chris, last couple of weeks, what you noticed?
I got to start with my hot and cold Mariners this year. One of you guys might be lucky. You guys could get Mitch Haniger. I mean, he's like on the trade market. He's an RBI machine. So, I expect him to probably lose him right before the trade deadline. He'll probably go somewhere. I wanted to say is the Mets, everybody talks about DeGrom, and I get it. The dude is going to win the Cy Young again. Everybody knows this. But if you look at the rest of the rotation, it's probably the best rotation in baseball. It really is. With Taijuan Walker throwing under 2, Marcus Stroman throwing like around a 2 ERA, and then they have the back end of it. I mean, nobody really talks about those guys, but also those two guys are also coming onto their last year of their contract. So what do the Mets do at the end of the season? And now everybody's kind of like discombobulated of, do they stay or do they go, kind of thing. So I like watching the Mets. They're a fun team to watch. I mean, they've played a lot less games than everybody else has due to COVID, but they're already in first place. So that's pretty much in the bag already. I feel like going into the All-Star break, I think they'll be fine.
Jackson's over there rubbing his beard going, come again?
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
I'm just going to point out the Braves have collapsed in September. The Mets have collapsed in September. The Philadelphia Phillies have collapsed in September. The NL East is cursed. You have like a 7 or 8 game lead September 1st. You're finishing third. It's like guaranteed.
So wait. If you're saying all three of those teams are going to fit, so who finishes first then?
Probably Miami at this point.
Marlins.
Yes.
It's
The Marlins are going to finish first with 73 wins.
Probably.
Division.
Dude, it'll be like the 2005 and 6 like NL West where the Padres won at like, what was it, like 84 wins or something? I don't even remember.
Yeah. Well, boys, I got to tell you, the things, like, I'm starting to get more frustrated. I agree with you, Brian. Baseball's hot right now, and I love what I'm watching. But can I tell you, I'm getting more and more frustrated with this this unwritten rules crap. I mean, we all played, right? This unwritten rules crap. I'm getting tired of seeing, and I put this in one of my last articles. I'm getting tired of watching the right fielder stand on the fence, whistling for the peanut vendor while the third baseman plays short right like a rover. It's crazy, some of these things that are like the new norms. And watching bullpen games, not only the Dodgers, but there's a number of teams that are, my old school thinking is when you've got a 10 or 12 game stretch without a day off and you do a bullpen game, what happens if your pitcher comes out and just sucks? Your starting pitcher. The day after you did a bullpen game, now your bullpen is exhausted. And so I'm getting tired of watching that. I'm loving watching the races. It was fun to watch Philadelphia and the Yankees this weekend just because of that history there. We got some fun games, the Sox and the Rays this week. I mean, that's going to be exciting. To me, that's kind of a playoff pitcher race, right? You got Cincinnati and Milwaukee. You've got the Mets and the Cubs. I mean, these are all teams, the Dodgers and Phillies, these are all teams that are playing well right now. So it's actually going to be a good week to watch some baseball. That's for doggone sure. So, okay. Mr. Viliami, you look, so boys, so for Chris and Brian, you guys are new to this. Jackson is kind of our resident statistician. This dude can find stuff that nobody can find, right? He missed his calling in life. He should have been a statistician for like the MLB channel or something. Viliami challenged him on this today. And so he called me up and he says, what do you think about this? So Viliami, I'm just gonna let you take it away from here. And please, as he asked this question, do not be drinking anything, do not be eating anything. I don't want anybody to choke live on a Zoom meeting.
I'm not responsible for any deaths.
Yeah, I am not responsible for any bad things. Schaefer, please don't throw anything at your computer screen when he says this, okay? But Viliami, your question today was what? What did you ask me today?
Okay, so before that, this is a horrible first impression for Brian and Chris.
Oh no.
When it comes to me. And for those who I've had experience with Jackson and Dave, please forgive me. Don't think of me any different. So I posed this question to Bill with how hot the Angels are doing since Mike Trout has been out. And I said, let's just go into far left field here. Let's play little devil's advocate here. Are the Angels better this season with or without Mike Trout?
This is so great because a few
go
weeks
ahead.
ago, I brought this up to someone
Wow.
If we go on somewhat little tears without him. And my reasoning was, since he is the best player in baseball, do you think the pressure is off the team, knowing they're not playing behind him?
I'm going to say that, yeah, I'm going to say that probably not only he's the best player in baseball, but he's probably one of the top 10 best players ever to play the game. And when you, my argument to Viliami today was, when you take him out of the equation, if he were 37, okay, you can make that argument, but he's in his prime. And Shohei's hitting right now. What happens when you add Trout back into that mix? Maybe you can get guys like Rendon, excuse me, Rendon hot again. How do you take the best player in baseball and say, but anyways, I'm going to shut up now. I want to hear what you boys think, because I was driving. I almost pulled over because I was drinking something at the same time. And I did not want to choke and or get into an accident. Although, boys, my wife makes a lot of money if I go. There's a lot of life insurance. So, I don't know that she would have been too upset today. But anyways, go ahead. What do you think?
I see Chris's mind turning a little bit at the bottom. His grin's widening.
Yeah, and I know what I'm about to say, but I'll let you guys go first since you're the true
Wait,
fans
Chris,
of the Angels.
Chris, did you just say, I know what I'm about to say?
Yeah, I know exactly. I would trade him in a heartbeat. I would trade. Here's my thing, okay? I know I'm a Mariners fan, and I know all this stuff. I know what it feels like to lose for a long time, okay? And I know when change is needed, okay? And right now, okay, here's a thing though. How well do the Angels do in Mike Trout's career? He's only been hurt twice, maybe 3 times in his career.
He genuinely stays pretty healthy.
So out of those 2 other times, let's say, what are the statistics of the team then as well compared to now? Because you have to admit the lineup of the Angels now is probably better than 5 years ago.
Yeah. I think
so.
The time he got really injured though is when I think he tore his thumb ligament in Miami before the All-Star break.
Sliding into second.
17 or 8, I don't remember. And
I think it was 17 where he slid in.
Yeah, he slid into second and he hurt his thumb. That was his last major injury. He's not injured that often, but every time he does get injured, he tends to step back on that thing that got him injured. So for the instance, the thumb, I believe he was stealing. He hasn't stolen a lot of bases since because he doesn't want to get hurt.
Well, he's also gotten fatter. I'll admit that.
Whoa.
Everybody knows Mike Trout put on the pounds, man. Everybody knows he put on the pounds. After his first 3 seasons, look at Mike Trout's body from the first 3 seasons afterwards. There's so much muscle mass on there now.
He was supporting his wife during her pregnancy. Give him a break.
Wow.
But I'm not trying to bag on Mike Trout at all.
We're all about positivity here, Chris.
But I'm just saying, in a realistic aspect, your guys' farm system is not the greatest.
No,
it really isn't. And so,
even a little.
If you're playing well without your star player, let alone probably one of the best players of all time, wouldn't it be smart of you now to get a whole farm system in return for one player, and you get the money off the books?
They're not.
You could be like the Rockies in the Nolan Arenado deal and not get jack squat for him.
That's true, but they were looking to just ship him off. I think they were just looking to get money off the bags, even though they're still paying a crap ton. So,
but to me, it's real simple. If you're going to trade a guy like that, you better either get enough guys to replace the offense, or spend that money smarter very quickly. Otherwise, you suck. Your farm system sucks. If you're gonna trade a guy like that, it's a reflection on your general manager and your owner that you can't put a team around them, and it means you suck.
Artie Moreno.
Otherwise, you've got to reinvest that money like right now.
Yeah.
And get a big return. I mean, the White Sox did it with Chris Sale, and probably not on the same level as Trout, but probably on the top level of pitchers. And they got a haul, and now they're reaping the benefits. But I would have been the first to admit that the general manager had mismanaged the farm system for years, and they sucked.
Didn't the White Sox trade Tatis for Shields?
Yeah,
You had to go there, man.
they have Tim Anderson though.
Yeah, they had TA7, but they also got Eloy and Dylan Cease from the Cubs for Jose Quintana, who's now an Angel.
And
Yeah,
Garbage.
on the injured list.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's where the Angels are, right?
Yeah, rather have him on the injured list than in the rotation.
I still think, and this even goes back to a conversation that we had several months ago about Albert Pujols, right? Mike Trout is in his prime. If I'm a pitcher, okay, if I know Mike Trout's in that lineup, I'm going to do everything. I'd rather, because of the history. Now, I'm not saying that Shohei is not going to end up being great, okay, but let's face it, Mike Trout is great. Would I rather pitch to Shohei or would I rather pitch to Trout? And the answer is every day and twice on Sunday, Shohei right now. Okay. Even with Shohei tearing up the ball, because he hasn't proven that he can do it for a long period of time. If I'm looking on that scoreboard and I'm a pitcher and I see, the leadoff batter and then I see number 17, Ohtani, number 27, Trout, I don't want to walk that leadoff batter. I don't want to get down to Ohtani where I got first and second with Trout coming up. I just don't. And that's not going to change for a number of years. Now, the contract is ridiculous. So is Tatis's contract, right?
That's his contract.
Yeah. I mean, there's 1,000 contracts out there that just haven't made sense. But I still, Billy, I mean, I say bring him back as soon as he's ready to come back, bring him back. And I don't think he's a bad clubhouse guy. Is there any rumors that he's a bad clubhouse guy?
No. Let me give you these stats, and hopefully this will help you with
Jackson, you may want to fact check this. This is like a presidential debate here, Jackson.
I have like a full magazine of ammunition that I could use, but I don't even want to dignify that question with a response at this point.
Go ahead with your facts, B. Let's go. Let's see.
Okay.
Hit me with them.
So in the last 10 games, Angels are 8-2.
Who have the Angels played in the last 10 games?
They played professional baseball teams.
They played Seattle, Kansas City, and Arizona.
Seattle was
God.
though in the standings.
Chris is like, Seattle, we're talking Seattle.
Hey, we were last place, so any team we beat was good enough.
On your payroll, right?
Okay, keep going. This is
So
boys,
8-2 in the last 10 games. They have a top 5 team batting average right now in all of Major League Baseball. They're top 5 in strikeouts for pitching. They had a run differential of negative in the negative 60s. Since their 8-2 run, they have a negative 16 run differential. They're on a 6-game win streak. It's not going to end tonight. It's going to be 7. We're going to come back. And they're 15-9 since Mike Trout's been injured. And during the season, we've been pretty much dead last in the division when Trout has been active.
I want to ask though the ultimate question to you and Brian: are you going to trade him or not? That's the question for you guys mainly.
They're not going to give up now, because that's why the Angels farm system sucks, is that they were always okay. They were never great, but never bad. They were okay. They were mediocre, and that's what got them really bad, mediocre draft picks. That's why their farm system is poor. But as a fan, I'm more upset at not just GMs, but I wholeheartedly believe that Artie Moreno doesn't know baseball and just wants to put butts in the seats with the next power guy or something. He wants complete control of this team and what his word or the highway, his way or the highway. And he doesn't realize that these fans, these armchair expert fans, know the weaknesses of his team when he doesn't. He doesn't listen to the people he puts in charge. He wants to manipulate them. Getting butts in the seats isn't the players on the field. It's if they're winning. And when you're not winning, people aren't going to go. That's why he owns that stadium and he hasn't made renovations to it. It's a garbage stadium. You know, it's not bad. It's not like Oakland, but it's not the best. And it's the fourth oldest ballpark now. Like, he's not doing anything to help his team. If I were Mike Trout, he signed that contract. I get it. He wants to stay. But if they're not helping him and Artie Moreno still doesn't sign pitchers or they draft good pitchers for the future, let him go. This guy deserves to win. And I know a lot of great players haven't won. Tony Gwynn, Ted Williams, both don't have rings. That doesn't define you, but it's good for baseball when a guy like him is in the playoffs. And if they're not getting that point, then you need to give him what he deserves, and it's a winning team. So,
And the fact of the matter is that they're not going to get much more than Colorado got for Arenado with that contract. No one's going to take on that money. They're not going to get a superstar for him. So you either let him go or continue to pay him. And I think if you let him go, just like the Rockies, you're just admitting you failed.
When you look at the whole situation too with Moreno, I mean, you bought the stadium, the right to the stadium, and then you're also creating this like utopia around the stadium. Like, that's not, as fans, we don't care about that. We don't care about the amenities. We care about winning. We want to see our team in the playoffs. We want to see our team take the National League teams to 7-game series. We want to see championships. We want to see banners.
I want banners that don't say AL West champions or wild card champions. I want a banner that says 2021 World Series champions, 2025 World Series champions. It's a tired act, and I'm over it. Like, then you're right. Fans don't want to see, these amenities, because those Midwest teams and those East Coast teams, they have it and they hate it. Like, Yankee fans don't like Yankee Stadium.
Well, yeah, even the
They want a winning team, and we want a winning team too.
Yeah, you look at San Diego. I went there. I was at the game when James Shield gave up the home run to Bartolo, and it was amazing. But I mean, the whole area around the stadium is cool. Like, don't get me wrong, it's cool. But when you go in and your team sucks, I mean, how can you really enjoy that?
Got to get excited about the game. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
I see, boys. I think there's a deeper issue than just getting rid of Mike Trout. Obviously, Brian, you alluded to it, that the armchair fans, they know that you need pitching. I mean, your stadium isn't up to date, but it's not. I mean, we're not talking about Fenway where you're facing the wrong direction, and not home plate where you're turning to the side to look in some seats and things like that, or Dave's favorite place, Wrigley, right? It's not. We're not talking those stadiums. We're talking a decent stadium to play in, great school systems. You're not shoveling snow. It's not 18 below zero in the wintertime. Recruiting good, talented players should not be a difficult thing. You just got to be willing to pay for them. And, the Angels are paying Albert Pujols to play 45 miles north of where they're paying him to play at. But then that contract goes away next season. So now you've got that money freed up. You go get some pitching. I suspect that there is a subset of Angel fans that would lose their minds if the Angels traded Mike Trout anywhere. I mean, Bryce Harper tried to recruit him to the Phillies before he signed his big contract, where Bryce was playing, right? And said, hey, come with us and we'll win the number of World Series championships. You can live in your hometown and be able to travel here, and Mike turned it down. He stayed in Anaheim. So I just
Well, and there's a whole dynamic here with COVID too, which was the same thing with Arenado. No one's going to take on that money. There's no way a team can afford 2 of those contracts. They can barely afford 1, and there's only a handful of teams that can do that. So nobody's going to be in a big hurry to bail any other owner out of a contract like that right now with the way the economics are. They're just getting attendance back. They're just getting ratings back. They've had all their costs this whole time. So, no one's going to do that. There's only a few teams that could even consider it. And you're going to get back maybe 1 top 10 prospect, and the rest of them are going to be wild cards, just like what the Rockies got.
Yeah.
Well, even pre-COVID too. I mean, you think about it, like the Yankees wouldn't take on a contract like Mike Trout's or the Red Sox. You look at them, for years they've been trying to stay under that luxury tax level. They've talked about in the media how the Steinbrenners don't want to go above that. They're tired of paying out buku bucks for going over. I mean, the Red Sox, they didn't even want to pay Mookie. I mean, he wanted an extension. They don't want to pay him. Well, they do trade him they trade him and Price to the Dodgers. I mean, it's a big contract, but obviously I don't want Trout to get traded. It's just one of those, like, what are your thoughts on it type of thing. But I mean, it does suck every year when you have high hopes and you don't get the stuff you need for the team to succeed, and it's getting old.
Well, and I mean, backtrack this a little bit. The Angels are playing the A's right now, who are in first place. Get 2 out of 3 of these, and don't you guys go to Detroit, or does Detroit come to you this week?
Detroit comes to us.
Yeah, take 2 or 3 of those. I mean, you got to beat up on those teams. You got to beat up on the Detroits, the Arizonas, the Kansas Cities, the Baltimores. Beat up on those teams, and then do your best to play 500-600 ball in your division, and you got a shot. To your point, Brian, even if you were to win the West this season, I don't know that you've got the pitching to sustain yourself deep into the play. Now, granted, Dave and I, if we were talking hockey, Dave and I could talk about seasons where, being a Kings fan or him being a Blackhawks fan, that we limped into the playoffs and then made deep runs because you just got hot at the right time.
Yeah.
Right. And that could happen. But in baseball, pitching in a best out of 5 series or best out of 7 series is everything. And that's why when Seattle made their mini-me run in the mid-90s was because you had Randy Johnson, you had the pitching. That's why Arizona won the World Series the year that they did, because they had Johnson and Schilling back-to-back solid outing pitchers that could take them. And when you knew game 1 was Johnson, game 2 was Schilling, game 3 was whoever, game 4 was back to Johnson and Schilling, you knew you had to get game 3 in hopes that you can get game 1 or 2 if one of those guys was having an off day. So, Jackson, you didn't say much around that debate, but what were your thoughts on it?
Any GM stupid enough to trade a player of Mike Trout's caliber should be fired without another word. You do not trade a generational talent that wants to play for your team. That's case in point. And you mentioned Albert Pujols' contract coming off the books. We've talked about this for years. When they're done paying CJ Wilson, when they're done paying Josh Hamilton, they'll have the money for pitching. It's all boils down to what the Angels fans have said. Artie Moreno doesn't want to spend money on pitching. Instead of going out and pursuing Garrett Cole and outbidding the Yankees, they went and signed Anthony Rendon, which is great and all. Like, another great bat in your lineup. Rendon's a good player, but they really needed a pitcher, and they should have paid the King's ransom for Garrett Cole. Case in point.
And Angel fans, just be grateful for one thing. I'm going to give you 3 words. Be super grateful that you don't have a Bobby Bonilla day. Be grateful that You're not paying somebody's contract for the next 30 years, okay? I mean, the Mets get that dubious honor.
Yeah.
Anyways, fellas, this has been so much fun and a great conversation. Billy, I mean, thanks for taking that bullet since you were thinking about it. That was awesome. Let's go around the horn. We'll start backwards this time. Chris, why don't you start off 30 seconds, something that you're looking forward to this week in baseball, something that you're hoping doesn't happen. You can talk about the Mariners if you want in their schedule. 30 seconds, you're on the clock, go.
Can I talk about like future years kind of thing?
The Mariners will be good in 2029. We already understand this.
Everybody knows that, but I want to say this. I don't know what you guys feel is who's going to be a better shortstop when they come into the bigs. Okay, there's like 3 of them. All right, you got Wander Franco. All right, you got Bobby Witt Jr. coming up, and you got CJ Abrams, who, if the Padres can put him at short, they'll probably put him in the outfield. But out of those 3 guys, I'm really excited to see what all 3 of those guys can do, because these are future studs, basically.
Yeah, there's a lot of future studs down in the farm right now with a lot of guys. And there's some future guys that came up that need to step it into higher gear too, right? The
Like
Bigios.
I mean, hey, we sent Kelenic back down. He's raking in Tacoma. I don't know what it is, but
yeah. I will say this. I love it when the Seager brothers play against each other and they tease each other after they hit home runs and stuff like that. I enjoy that. That's the fun part of the baseball game, right?
It is. It's a lot of fun to watch them play.
There you go. Brian, 30 seconds on the clock.
I'm excited to see what happens with the Rays and the AL East at the moment, because as of today, I just read that Glass now left the game in the 4th due to elbow inflammation. And that always triggers red flags when you hear elbow and inflammation. So if they lose a guy like him, I don't know if their offense can keep them up, and we'll see what happens with the AL East. So that's what I'm looking at in the next couple weeks to see what happens with Tampa.
Yeah. Good call. Viliami.
I'm hoping that my good friend Shane Bieber, that his injury isn't as bad. Hoping he can bounce back from there. I'm also hoping the Angels, if they lose today, they bounce back and have a good rest of the series and finish strong for the week. As the All-Star break slowly approaches, I'm hoping we can make a big splash and get the help we need in the pitching category.
You said if they lose today, right, Viliami? At the end of 5, it's 8-1 Oakland. So
we come back from worse.
They were down 12-0 to the Dodgers.
Nobody likes them much.
Game, though.
14-12 or something. I don't remember.
Any team has a shot when you have Canley in there.
Yeah, there you go. Dave, what are you looking at?
Well, I'm going to go off script here a minute and tell you that you need to be watching the College World Series this week and next week. Some fantastic baseball and some really good stories. I don't know if you saw the story out of Arkansas with Carter Kopp and the closer. And they ran him out there for something like 300 and some pitches over a week. Wow. And he ends up giving up a walk-off home run to knock them out of the College World Series. And the guy stayed behind after the game and signed autographs for an hour.
Huge.
There's a lot of really good kids here, really good baseball. You got Vanderbilt playing Arizona. That's going to be a great game. You got Stanford playing NC State. You got Texas playing Mississippi State, and Virginia playing Tennessee. So you got 2 Pac-12 teams, a few SEC teams. It's going to be really good baseball. So I would, if I were you, I'd watch a couple of those.
Yeah, I was actually watching one yesterday, and it was who was playing? Is Notre Dame? It was Notre Dame and somebody.
Yeah, Notre Dame got bounced, surprisingly. The top teams all got bounced. Arkansas was number 1. So.
Notre Dame had this kid that looked like a freaking lumberjack. and he was the number 3 or 4 hitter. The dude was maybe 6'3", 6'4", built like Vogelsong over at first base with Milwaukee, but move all the extra muscle that he has into his shoulders and his arms as muscle. And I mean, he was holding that bat like Tim Tebow. It looked like a toothpick in his hand. I'm watching this kid going, if he touches the ball, it's not going to land anywhere where players are going to play with it anymore.
It's like Bo Jackson with a size small uniform.
Yeah.
So watch some college baseball, boys.
Absolutely. Jackson.
All right. I mean, yo-yo are the only 2 words I have. That's what the Braves are going to do this week. After dropping 4 straight, winning the finale against the Marlins, they'll probably win 3 straight, then proceed to lose 4 straight because they reached 500 again. But in all seriousness, the team lacks an identity. They've had a lot of injury issues, losing several key players, and obviously we won't delve too deep into the Marcell Ozuna thing, but that really affects a team when the clubhouse is that tight. And the collapses I was referring to, I won't delve deep into them, but as the resident statistician, the Mets lost 12 of their last 17 games in 2007, blowing a 7-game division lead. The Braves in 2011 blew an 8.5 game lead in their division. So that's why I always consider the NL East pretty open. It's just a weird thing. You just don't feel safe, especially as a Braves fan. That collapse, it was a good year until September.
That hurts. Well, I agree with Dave. I was going to mention the College World Series. There's a lot of talent out there, but this week, if I'm watching the Dodgers, I'm happily nervous. Right, we got Philadelphia right now for the next night and the next 2 nights. Then we got 3 with the Diamondbacks. But this month, we end up having the Cubs, the Padres, and the Giants. So this month is going to be, the rest of the month's going to be frustrating for the, say it with me, Viliami, world champion Los Angeles Dodgers. It's going to be tough for those guys. But I'm looking for baseball to be played as baseball. I've been writing about this forever. I'm missing the little ball, boys. I'm really missing just the fundamental stuff. And I wish we saw it more. So hopefully we'll have that. Top fans, this has been a lot of fun. Viliami took a bullet for us tonight because he had a great question. And we want to thank everybody for being involved, especially Brian and Chris for joining us for the first time in the clubhouse. Boys, you're always welcome back.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Top fans, feel free to subscribe to the page, make any type of comments you'd like. We do have these on a pretty consistent basis, so feel free. And then you can always reach out to us and or subscribe on our YouTube or Instagram pages. Have a good evening.